Hi, I'm Katie Scott, and I have a blog called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, and I blog about scrapbooking. One thing that I woke up with today is Valentine's Day 2012, and I intended to make a Valentine's Day page. I intended to take a picture of my family. Didn't happen this morning. But I will probably take a picture like this tonight with our self-timer. And then it'll go on this page, and I'll do some journaling, and that will be my scrapbooking page for 2012. And I started this yesterday with the machine stitching to make a heart banner. But when I woke up this morning, Valentine's Day really was not on my mind. What was on my mind was Saturday Night Live. Random, sort of. It's not so random, I don't think, because the Grammys were Sunday night. Whitney Houston died the day before the Grammys. So that was kind of a big moment, in everyone's life, because we all remember her, if you're at any age, really, I think. And so then I didn't watch the Grammys on Sunday night. I watched them in rerun. And that's now how I watch Saturday Night Live. And Paul McCartney closed the show on the Grammys, and he is kind of a regular guy on Saturday Night Live. And one of my very favorite sketches from Saturday Night Live was when Chris Farley was he was like the awkward interviewer. He was like interviewing Paul McCartney. He was very, very nervous, and the last question was, when you say in the song, the love you take is equal to the love you make, and Paul McCartney's like, yes, and Chris Farley says, is it true? And Paul McCartney's like, yes, and so that was just kind of a favorite moment of mine, and then seeing Paul McCartney, and so all of that kind of rolling around in my head. I woke up thinking about Saturday Night Live. And thinking about how so the Valentine's Day layout was not really urgent for me to make, even though today is Valentine's Day. So even though I have, lots of Valentine's Day papers that I could use, I just kind of wanted to not scrapbook Valentine's Day today. Instead, I was excited to do something about Saturday Night Live. And so just thinking about the fact that I'm 41, I don't know when Saturday Night Live started, but I think it was sometime in the 70s. So I really, can remember Saturday Night Live from my childhood, my teenage years, college, growing up into an adult. And now I watch it with my kids we watch it on rerun on Sunday. And so, and the other thing, I guess, with the Grammys and I'm going to get back to scrapbooking, but with the Grammys and with Saturday Night Live is, when you hear a song and it will bring you back to where you first heard that song, or a special moment when you heard that song, or just remind you of a person or a place or a time. Saturday Night Live kind of does that same thing for me as music. And so thinking about music, thinking about Saturday Night Live, thinking about all these random Saturday Night Live, so what I did is oftentimes if I have something that I want to journal about, I'll put it in a composition book, or I have lots of different journals that I can use. I even use my iPhone sometimes to journal. The problem with these is it's awesome, and theoretically I would go back to it and make a page later, but I don't. I mean sometimes, but typically when I'm sitting down to scrapbook, I am doing something that's much more immediate. It's whatever's on my mind that day. And so today, Saturday Night Live is on my mind. So I went to a scrapbooking yard sale at my local scrapbook store, Whimsidoodle, and that's the most awesome way to get supplies, in my opinion. But I bought these two little journaling pads, and they just have, different places where you can journal. Got them for 50 cents. They're from Pretty Darn Quick Bizoo, and they're from 2007. But I don't think they look dated at all. They're just they're simple. They've got lines. There's some prompts, you know, some of them say some things. So I just took my Sharpie pen, which I'm not sure if it's acid-free or not. I like writing with a Sharpie. And I just started to journal on these little cards from the journaling pad. And I happened to have this handy this morning, so it was better for me than writing in the book. So I just wrote, and I'll put a picture of these up. Last night I was reminded of how much I love the show Saturday Night Live and how much the show has been a constant in my life. And then I say Whitney Houston just died and the Grammys and that kind of thing. And so then I go through, like in the 70s, a Saturday night for me in the 70s meant being at my grandma's, and the TV lineup was, who remembers this, right? Barbara Mandrell Show, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and then, if you were still up, Saturday Night Live. And I have vague memories of Saturday Night Live from the 70s, but I remember the Rolling Stones and Chevy Chase, and knowing that it was cool. So I wrote that down. And then what you can do, or I can do, is take a picture from the 70s and then pair it up, right, with the journaling. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'm thinking that for the amount of, I was going to do like a pocket page and create a pocket on like a 12 by 12 scrapbook album, and then just have them all queued up, you know, like all the tags sticking up. But I'm actually thinking I came across this album, which I made from 12 by 12 pieces of paper, but they have like little spots for taking things out. So I think that I'm going to make an album like this for my Saturday Night Live memories. And so this album was created from just a couple of pieces of 12 by 12 paper, and then I folded them into quarters, and then I made pockets. So I can show you how to do that. I don't want this video to go too long. I can show you how to do this in a different video. But I just really wanted to talk in this video about how, even though it's Valentine's Day, and I should be thinking Valentine's Day, as if I, you know, should be. But, you know, I intended to make a scrapbooking page about Valentine's today, on Valentine's Day, but that's not what I woke up with. And so then I just go through like the 1980s, and I remember this particular guy from my high school used to imitate the church lady from Saturday Night Live, so I found a picture of him from our 10-year reunion, and I'm just going to pair that up. And so just go through, and then I did the late 80s and the 90s and the, you know, just and different things from my life. And then I wrote some pages, so each decade basically. And then I wrote, you know, most memorable moments from Saturday Night Live for me. Number 2 was that Chris Farley interview of Paul McCartney. Number 1 was Paul Simon when he sang The Boxer after 9/11. That was definitely my most powerful moment on Saturday Night, you know, watching Saturday Night Live. And then my number 3 was the news segment in general, because that's been like such a constant, and I can remember like all the news segments from like the whole show. Did my top 10 favorites. I did a little journaling page about how Saturday Night Live and music triggers memories of my whole life. And so basically what I said here, I wrote down. And then, what else?